Hold on.
We don't know. We don't know the topics. All right, come on, Gabe. You got this.
My God, this thing is being
Well, Gabe is
recorded.
back here. I'm back here.
Hey!
Julian's back here. Episode 98. I'm back from my hiatus once again. Your boy's
Man.
been doing some traveling, been a little busy.
Man
But
got
of course,
deported. He got deported. I'm sorry.
That's not true. Have a passport. Your boy's still here. Well, was out of the country for a little while. Damn, it's been busy last 4 to 6 weeks for me, man. But definitely keeping up with all the sports. All the sports. Was good, fellas. How's the last few episodes? You guys been holding it down?
I've
Barely.
been carrying Gabe. So
Damn. From the Twitter responses, it does look like Julian's been holding it down, Gabe. I don't know what's going on. You grew a mustache, now I'm back. It's a different
I
Gabe.
need a haircut. That's why I'm wearing a hat right now. I need to clean up right now. Yeah, man, it's fall time. We're in the middle. Well, probably the greatest sports time that we can be in. There's hockey going on. Baseball just finished. But let's talk about football because that's happening every week. We're in the middle of our season. We just had another game over the weekend in Frankfurt, Germany. And I think they had like 50,000. How many? How do you know how much, Julian, that stadium holds in Frankfurt? Like 50,000?
it's either got to be 50 or 45,
Okay.
somewhere around there.
Is that about average for like soccer? Like how is it large compared like in the soccer world or?
It's not large. It's like it's kind of between like the middle and like high end.
Okay.
It's kind of like 40, like, which makes sense for the type of team they are. They're not like a flagship like Real Madrid, Barcelona. It's like 80, 90,000 people.
Damn.
And then, but like Frankfurt, kind of like your mid-level team in Europe, that makes about sense for in the size city. Makes about sense. Like the Bayern Munich stadium that they played in last year, I want to say that is like 60 or 70,000. I want to say somewhere around there.
Yo, so I was out there in Berlin. How far is Frankfurt from Berlin? Do you know? Because I know you've been out there.
I've never been to Germany, dude.
I'm not to Germany. Oh, my bad. I thought you're a Euro
It's
connoisseur.
about 6 hours, 6 hour drive.
The only distance. Well, mind you, people don't really drive. People take the train. So,
Oh, excuse me, fancy.
well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, a 6 hour drive. Like, how far is that? That's probably like, if I had to guess, maybe like a
3-4 hour
train ride.
Train
Yeah,
ride.
3-4 hour train ride. My guess. So,
No, it says 8 hours train, so you actually
maybe
shit.
they don't have a high speed connection. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
Quicker
not have a
driving.
Probably like 20 stops.
Oh,
Well, you-
Gabe, it's like midnight over there, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
No, yeah. When I was over there, it was tough to watch the games. I think it was like 6 hours ahead, and I caught the Broncos game when we lost to the damn Jets, and I was just like, why am I up late watching this? We're losing to the Jets. Like, why am I up?
dude. I know you probably didn't have time, but you should have checked out the game. So it's especially in Germany. That's one of the greatest atmospheres in the world. Is like watching like a game.
Honestly,
it's
I should have done more research. I had no clue what was going on over there in the sports world. When I went to Madrid, though, I was kind of looking into it because that would have been dope. But yeah, unfortunately, didn't get to go to anything. Too busy exploring everything else. But that's definitely next on the bucket list.
Bernabeu.
That's next on the bucket list. When I go back, definitely have to explore that avenue and experience that atmosphere that you've been preaching about. But yeah, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't even know the teams. I didn't know if they were in season. I didn't know where the nearest
It's
stadium was. I had no idea.
Yeah. So I just want to talk about the game real quick because obviously it was on the NFL Network as part of their NFL International Series. It drew almost 9.6 million viewers, which is like the highest tally they say as reported by all the news sources. And it said it averaged about almost half a million viewers on digital streaming just alone. It averaged
Nice.
average of
nine just in America.
9 in total. It said 9.6 million in total.
Yeah, including
and they
international?
average almost half a million every average per minute was almost half a million viewers at every minute time. So
I'd be really surprised if they got those. If those are not just American, because that sounds like just an American view. I'm curious what the international viewer was.
yeah, And also like just the overall vibe I got from it, although it was the Chiefs Dolphin games, I think this was from what I heard was like it's a celebration of football. It's a lot of European international people that traveled, from Paris, people from France. There was people from I saw actual Miami fans there, people from Miami traveling. So it seemed like more of a celebration of football, not just like necessarily Chiefs and Dolphins fans
for the teams. Yeah,
it seemed like a lot of people watching in general. So Julian, I don't know, how was your overall experience? How do you feel about the Frankfurt games? And then we can talk about the actual game if you want to get into it.
Yeah, so obviously there's another one this weekend. Dude, it's awesome to see. Like as somebody with the experience of like watching, I've never been over there, but like watching games over there in person, like I could imagine if the atmosphere is even like half of what it is in like for like the soccer matches, it was probably wild as fuck. So. And obviously, this has been a fan base, even dating back to NFL Europe when they had like actual teams, and now they have what's the league called? The European Football League, I want to say. Even those teams in that current league, they do pretty well. Like I think the Frankfurt team, I want to say is Frankfurt Galaxy, and compared to like the other ones, it's supposed to be pretty well. So obviously, Germany's going to be a mainstay. I always felt like Germany was a probably better market than England is. I would go as far to say I think Germany would support a team better than England would. I personally think. I think a lot of people that go to those London games are most likely coming from other places because from what I understand in England, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's fans there, but not to the level like it is in Germany. I mean, we talked about a couple months ago, Gabe, where they had for the queue to get a ticket was 1.5 million people at one time. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
That's wild. Like that is super, super crazy. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's gonna keep on going, and hopefully too, I think it's good for Americans like who don't watch like obviously international soccer, like to see like maybe pick up things or like from like what those fan bases do, because obviously like you see it a lot in college football, like or even here, like the FSU like chant thing, like the Chiefs do the same thing, the Braves do the same thing. It'd be cool if like we pick up certain things the more we reach out from there, because obviously they have such strong like sports culture. It'd be cool if we can take some of that and bring it over here, and that's the best way to do this, obviously, to keep on exposing people to what they do. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty awesome. I hope they keep on doing it more. I heard something that they're aiming for Spain next year.
Yeah. So the article I read saying Spain and Brazil are the front runners. Roger does looking at that. They haven't announced it yet, obviously, but looking at Wikipedia, they already have a 2024 in Munich at the Allianz Arena, which they played before. 2022, the Seahawks and the Bucks played. In Munich.
Yes, that is where they played before.
That's Bayern Munich Stadium.
Yeah.
So I'm already seeing
Brazil and Spain would be pretty sick,
Yeah. And also, they already kind of have Wembley Stadium, Tottenham for next year as well. But those are the regular London games that normally Jacksonville plays at their home court. Hey, by the way, it's good to see you in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here right now. So
he's in the actual
Talk about a diehard, bro. What are you in a box office there? Sweet.
No, this is the press box, the Real Fans. I got with the Real Fans media credentials. So
shit.
We got credentials now. So I got some for the Dolphins. Yeah. I'm about to do a press conference for Mike McDaniel soon, so
got you.
We have to end this a little short, Yeah.
Do you want to get into the actual game, because I thought the game, it was pretty decent. I think actually, speaking about the viewership, I think the fact that you got two big teams, obviously, I think Miami's going to be a big team in Europe just because of the history. They've been around since the 70s. I know there's tons of Miami Dolphins fans in London, England area. I think the fact that the Chiefs, it was the Chiefs Dolphins, two huge franchises or historical franchises in the NFL made it good. Like if you had this past Thursday game, if you had like a Bears, Carolina Panthers game internationally, I don't know if it'd be as
I mean, think about it too. They brought arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks into another country as well. Like, come on, who doesn't want to see Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, especially around Taylor Swift blowing up his social media? There's a lot of tension on the Chiefs. So then that was a smart move in the NFL to have the Chiefs play over there.
I hope they keep it, big franchise like that because it's good for the game, I guess.
Just big names and stuff
Yeah.
too.
Don't put the Giants and I don't know, name some other the Giants and Raiders game over there. That'd be a waste of time. It's already hard enough to be like, oh shit, I gotta wake up in the morning. It's like 9:00. I'm like, oh damn, there's a game on. I gotta go turn it on.
It's also tough too to like, it doesn't. You want an exciting game as well, even if it doesn't have the big names. Just something exciting, it's just like a good matchup. Like it could be like two tough teams, but if they're two like defensive teams, then it's like, oh well, this is gonna be a boring ass matchup. And obviously, you want to try to make stuff as entertaining as possible to convert people into viewers. But yeah, I mean, it's an uphill. I will say though, it will be an uphill battle because, man, as much as I love football, it's a huge learning curve to get into. You know what I mean? Like understanding the rules, like the stopping, the commercials. That's something that can throw people off a lot, especially if they're coming from a fan base where you're used to watching soccer, where it's a like constant
45
flow
minutes.
of thing of like moving. Even some like even this summer when I was watching a fuck ton leading up to the football season, watching week 1, even though I've watched football my whole life, it just kind of threw me off for a second. It was just a little jarring because I'm like, oh man, now I kind of see what people are referring to with like the constant stopping. It's like, oh man, and I can imagine for someone who's not a football fan or not used to watching it, being like, fuck, like another commercial or just like the rules thing. Like,
I mean,
they don't really,
I feel like the
podcasts, they don't really talk about what the rules are. Like, it's just like, what's an offside? Like, even my girlfriend, for example, she can get into soccer a little bit easier because even though, don't get me wrong, there's a ton of nuance and strategy and everything, but kind of the general gist is like, okay, I understand what they're doing. We're putting the ball in the back of the net. Football, you don't really understand that, like running out the clock and like there's so many like things like background knowledge you have to know to kind of understand it. So I think that's going to be the biggest hurdle for the NFL is really educating people on it because it's not like basketball or hockey or soccer where it's just straightforward, like just put the shit in the goal.
I would give a counter argument of, the fact that they have stopped it. Actually, in the game, it makes better time to explain, right? Because if the ball's going, you're like, oh, they're kicking it back and forth. Maybe you can quickly in soccer say, hey, they're just trying to get the ball and go. But with the stoppage time, I think they've calculated before. It's like 10 or 12 minutes of actual game time of the ball moving in football. So the other,
yeah, it's you ever watch like those replays on like NFL Network where they do like the speed up replays?
Yeah.
They basically it's like 45 minutes or like an hour or something like that. It's super short. I mean, you're literally talking about you're spending more time watching breaks than you are the actual game moving.
But I wouldn't make an argument, now that you have stoppage, you can explain every play. Like, there's time to explain stuff if you're trying to learn the game. But if you're just trying to watch it, obviously you're just trying to get through, you want to see action.
I will say you need a commentator who can really blend the lines of teaching while also talking about it, especially internationally on those international broadcasts. So say like we have broadcasters specifically for the international fans. If you can get someone who can really like, I've seen it in other sports too. Like when I was learning about like soccer, like UFC, for example, like being able to really like hearing like someone like Joe Rogan, for example, like being able to explain why he did that, why he's doing it while the match is going on.
And
like,
it's a great example of that actually, which I love. Every Monday night, you got Peyton and Eli, and I love how they dissect the game. They add humor into it. Peyton is running examples of plays and strategies, and he's explaining because we know he's high IQ in the game, and to break it down to us average fans to be like, oh shit. That actually makes sense.
I don't think it'd be good for like a standard broadcast because I'm not gonna lie, man. Sometimes I love the show, but then there's times where I'm like, bro, what are these guys like? Sometimes I'm like, bro, what are these guys talking about? It's like throwing me off. But if you can blur those lines between like Tony Romo to like Peyton Manning, like if you can kind of like that'd be ideal, obviously.
Yeah, I think the NFL does a good thing of that. Especially, I like the Nickelodeon cast. Whenever they put it on, I always go watch it because A, it's more fun, but B, they actually like for kids, they're like actually breaking down, like say, hey, this is a play, this is what this is called. They give
they did it for the Toy Story one. They did it for the like.
So I mean, if you're teaching kids, that's kind of cool. But also, I've seen other broadcasters, international broadcasters, because they do have people internationally that cover the games. Not just the team ones. So just on a regular season, not the international game, but just a regular season game. They do have breaks where they go to like whatever the London studio, and they have English people saying, "Come on, bruv, Tua's got to roll out, bruv, in it," or some shit. I don't know.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Even some like, there's instances where I'm like, "Fuck, dude!" Like, I don't know what the fuck like the rule is on this. Like, I don't understand the nuance, especially since it's and all kinds of sports that I watch. Sometimes it's just like, fuck. Do I really know what encroachment is? I mean,
for me personally, bro, the play calling and scheming, I gotta study a little more and dive deeper, because I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, actually, like some of I like the broadcast, especially, and this happens in the NBA for the finals. When they do like a multicast where you can go on a different channel and actually look at like a different view. You can it's not just the side view. You can look at the up, end-to-end court view.
Yes, because
sometimes
they do it NBA TV sometimes.
Coaches tape. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when they have like different watch parties, and so they have like coaches doing one and whatever other former players doing another one. Sometimes I actually like looking at different view of it, so I can actually see the play. Because if I know the sport, it's easier. Sometimes it's harder when they cut and they're zooming out. It's hard to see everybody, the entire field. So if that is available, I like to do that, especially in those playoff games, to look at different views, because to me that's more interesting, because I can say, oh, this guy cut, or oh, he did this move, or here they're doing double team.
Open.
Here comes the blitz. For me, I guess who wants to know more, it's more better for me that way. So
I stand by the fact that I think it should all be behind the quarterback plays. I've always thought that's like the best to really understand and see like what's happening. Like, I know I get at this point, like the game tape, the side view is like just something I've had forever. But like, I genuinely wouldn't mind if they did more, like just even on the national broadcast, they did like more like behind the back, because I don't know, maybe because I'm like a nitty gritty fan. I like seeing the plays develop. I think that's interesting. It's really cool.
So, not to get off topic, but they're making changes in the MLB, and something that I like, I don't know if you saw, Gabe, or if you're watching the playoffs, they'll show the view of the umpire or even the catcher.
That actually
which I'm like, that's actually really dope, because you get to see how fast that ball's coming in, the angles, what the batter sees there, and they're like, oh shit. Granted, they don't do it all the time, but they have a few shots. But I'm like you said, to your point, Julian, imagine doing that with the quarterback, right? They're surveying the field. You're literally looking at what they see. The play breaking out, defense running at you.
And the NFL has that too. They have cameras. I think the NFL and some college, it depends on what network. I think Fox is better at doing that stuff. But the refs have cameras too. But you'll see like in clips after the game is done. I don't think you ever see it live unless something happens. Maybe somebody gets injured or a fumble or something. So you always see that after the game. But yeah, I do like kind of that perspective, especially for me. You're talking about MLB. Since I was a catcher, growing up, I actually like that view, because like that's what I saw when I was catching. So I'm like, okay, that's a strike or whatever. It's kind of interesting.
And they're also doing more like mic'd up players, different positions. I mean, pitchers, catchers, outfielders.
The thing is too, is like, I think us as fans are like really craving to see like more and something different. And like, I mean, think about how successful mic'd up is for the NFL. It's so successful because people are getting more of what's happening on the inside. They're getting kind of an idea how people talk to each other, the interactions and stuff. And I think, if you could do more to give the fan, it looks like they're slowly rolling it out. And obviously they're always testing it with XFL, like how you can hear the play calls and stuff like that. Like, I think that's always sick. I think and I think they understand that, at least the NFL is, and doing more for that. I can see some, like, I feel like basketball would just be hard to do something just by the nature of it.
No, they curse. Nothing with them. Well, at least with the mic'd up, that's like super edited, highly edited. They're just gonna be the the rah. Hey, you're doing a good job, or whatever shit. You never get hear the actual real shit.
Well, maybe with the NBA too, because it's smaller. It's like a court. Like, you don't have to mic them up, but if you just have like the boom mics like by the sideline, so like, or like underneath the basket and shit. Like, I mean, they already have the cameraman there.
Yeah, when you listen to the broadcast or watch the game, they'll always mute what's going on.
Somebody's gonna get canceled by the shit they say.
Or you hear them after they get a bad call, they'll be like, "Fuck," and you're like, they mute it after.
I will never forget as a kid, man. I don't know what World Series. You might know which one I'm talking about. JoJo, but it was the last World Series the Yankees won.
Oh,
And I
9?
remember they were losing. Man, I forgot what game. I don't know. It's been so long ago. No,
Yeah,
maybe
it
it
was
was in
against,
09.
the
Maybe it was
Phillies.
earlier.
It was
But
against
I
the Phillies.
remember they did a close up of Alex Rodriguez, and on the whole, he just was like, "Fuck!" Like everybody, like I don't know if you remember that, but I specifically remember that. Just like they zoomed in on Alex Rodriguez, not knowing what he was gonna. They thought he was just wasn't gonna say anything, but then he's just like, "Fuck!" It's like, right on TV. It
You're
was
like, oh
great.
man.
But
Yeah, so Frankfurt game, man. I think it's pretty successful. It's kind of tough. You always got to remember. Obviously, for my Dolphins, I'm definitely going to watch. But it's kind of hard. Like I said, if it's a trash game, I'm never going to check into those games.
Man, listen, man. Dolphins.
the next
man,
week is not
I know we're gonna get into the game, but y'all got to step up that defense, my boy.
Speaking of stepping shit up, let's finally talk to JoJo. I've been waiting months to come up here. We can finally talk about your damn Broncos.
Let's
okay?
talk.
Let's talk about Russell Wilson.
That's right.
Where they are in the standing. Broncos right now, they're 3-5, bottom of the heap, just one game below the Raiders. Obviously, Chiefs at the top of that division. Let's talk about
That's
your
right.
Broncos and
That's
how
right,
they've been
man.
doing this at this point in the season.
So we could break it down, game by game. Listen, we started off with one of the worst defenses in the league first 5 games, in which that is not our characteristic at all, which you know that. Like we take pride in our defense. Granted, last season, that's what kept us in games. But we figured out Russ is not the problem. I'm gonna say that again. Russ is not the problem. So let's talk about some Russ stats right now. So this year, from pass touchdowns to interceptions, he's ranked 2nd in the league for quarterbacks. He's 4th in pass touchdowns. Pass touchdowns to attempts, he's 1st in the league. Passer rating, 4th in the league. And 4th quarter comebacks, he is tied 1st so far this season. Granted, I know the Broncos are 3-5, but if you really break down the first 3 games,
Yeah,
of the
I was gonna
season,
say, bro, that is such a cherry pick stat.
listen again. So
A lot of these are cherry pick stats.
No. The Vikings started off 1-4 and won their last 4 games. Right? This is the NFL. Anything can happen, right? I actually like where we're at. The first game we lost by 1 to the Raiders, and I was on a Jimmy G game-winning drive. So our defense gave up that game. Second game, we had a lead against the Washington Commanders. I think it was like 21-3 or something. I'm not sure. We gave up that game in the second half because of our defense. We all know what happened in the third game of the season against the Dolphins. We still put up 20 points of offense, but obviously we lost by 50 because the defense. Then we got a few wins here and there. And our biggest win of the season, obviously, against Kansas City Chiefs, in which Russ had 3 touchdown passes. Our defense showed out. No, the Chiefs did not have a bad game. We just had a great game. And that's the first time we beat them, I think, in the last 7 or 8 years. And that brought us to 3-5 instead of 2-6, which right now, still gives us hope. Like, we needed that win. And if you look at the remainder of the schedule, we still have a game against the Raiders, who are struggling. We still have 2 games against the Chargers, who are also struggling. We do have the Bills this Monday night, which we're going to talk about. And the Bills, they already have 4 losses under their belt, and they're still overrated this season. And we have a couple of winnable games if we want to pull up the schedule. But if our defense played as well as they played against the Chiefs for the remainder of the season, you guys are in trouble. Like, we can definitely make the playoffs or sneak it to a little wild card. I'm telling you that right now.
You're gonna probably have to stick it to a play, and like you said, Buffalo, the Vikings. You got to play Detroit, who's been.
We have the Lions,
really
yeah.
And then,
So those are big games. I seen that, yeah.
Yeah, still got to play the Chargers twice, and they lost Vegas.
And the Raiders is the last game of the season.
Yeah, you got a little test. I mean, also too, like the Browns. Like, I don't rate the Browns high, but it's also a team that's in a playoff position right now too. So it is a team that you do have to look out for. I agree with you though. Like, I do think when they were 1-5, they were better than 1-5. A lot of the games were close. I did think during that stretch, it was a little bit of both of Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. But I do think now the team is playing a lot better. do they make the playoffs? I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to be close. I think they're going to be in the bubble in the hunt for sure.
We could definitely be in a hunt.
The AFC is
that's
just
what I'm hoping for.
The AFC is just so tight. It's so strong. So it's going to be an uphill battle. And then, like you said, the schedule is not the easiest schedule. It's not the hardest schedule, but it's a decently tough schedule. I actually should go to Tankathon and see where it ranks. I'm curious.
Yeah,
but
no.
I don't know if you want to do that game while I'm talking. But
the Denver Broncos right now, they're number 15, just below the Titans. Titans have a tiebreaker over Denver based on win percentage. It's possible. Y'all got to beat the teams. Obviously, beat the teams you have to beat. Like, beat the Raiders, beat these small little teams. And then, you're going to be tested by the actual, good teams with a positive differential on their season, with a positive plus minus. So it's possible. I mean, it's kind of a far shot just being so low at especially this point in the season. But who the hell knows? Maybe people start losing.
And that's what I'm saying. We've seen more shocking things. And I'm always bringing back to your Dolphins a few years ago, winning 7 games in a row after starting off. what was it? 1-7, 0-7,
pretty bad.
Whatever the hell that was. We're gonna look at the Vikings. Lost their star quarterback. They started off 1-4. Justin Jefferson had injuries. Everyone wrote them off early in the season. 4-game win streak. We just beat the Kansas City Chiefs, in which, again, not just beating them, it's how we beat them. We didn't beat them on a game-winning field goal. It didn't go to overtime. Like, we cooked them, right? And, we just had our bye week, going into Buffalo, which, did they win their last game? No, they just got cooked by Cincinnati.
They just lost Cincinnati.
Exactly, right? Now, Cincinnati's finding their groove back. They had a slow start in the beginning of the season. People wrote them off. It's still early. Like, we can compete. That's the biggest thing. What I'm looking for is that we can compete. Our biggest loss of the season was losing to Miami, and then I actually kind of lost hope when we lost to the Jets that game. Then I was like, oh shit. But then we had 2 wins since then. You know what I mean?
So now, Denver has the 15th toughest schedule. So, like we said, Lions, Browns, Bills, Vikings, Chargers twice, and Houston.
Y'all got to beat the teams. You got to beat the
biggest thing I'm looking at. We're producing offense. Last season, we did not see that. Russ is actually averaging like 2 to 3 touchdowns a game.
It seems like they're meshing. It seems like Sean Payton is finally starting to understand the groove and kind of install his offense into the team. It seems like it's finally started. The first few games are going to be a little rough, obviously. And like I said, when they're 1-5, I don't think they're that bad. But I think now they're kind of slowly getting into the groove. Now that we're halfway point, and a lot of teams are starting to see that. So that's another thing too. Like, even though we think the Broncos are playing better, there's also a lot of teams that are playing better. There's a lot of teams getting into, but specifically the Broncos. I do think they're going to be a tougher team. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the Bills. I mean, granted, the Bills have had kind of a tough schedule to start, and Bills still have a tough schedule. Bills are the 4th toughest schedule in the league right now. They have the Eagles, Chiefs, Dolphins, Cowboys, Jets, Chargers, and then Patriots, Broncos. So that they still have a tough schedule. And if you're curious, the toughest team with the toughest schedule remaining is the Bengals. They have the Chiefs, Baltimore, Jags, Browns, Steelers twice, Vikings, and then the Colts. So.
Yeah, and Russell, like I think Russell's still serviceable. While last year he ended the season last year 16 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Obviously this year he's already tied with 16 already.
He already has 16 exactly.
So he's going to do better, but his QBR rating is still down. He averages about, let's say, 65, 66, 67. Right now he's still at a 46 QBR rating. So I mean, last year was a terrible year for him. I expected him to improve because it's like you can't get any lower. Like, obviously, kind of an off year for him.
Yeah, people are going to write him off, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Also,
I was ready to write him off last season.
He's not writing back. I mean,
wait, real quick before Junior, your point, and shout out, I don't know if you guys saw the Chiefs game, but we ran him up and down the field. So Williams, our running back, man, he did that thing. Yeah. We wore him out.
I will say,
got him tired, and then we still had 3 passing touchdowns in the end zone. So
I think the Chiefs aren't. I mean, obviously the Chiefs have the tied for the best record in the league, but I still don't think the Chiefs are that great. They've been kind of like not winning games convincingly, but it's still the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying that with the Eagles as well. Like the Eagles, they're performing very well, but people still don't have that confidence for whatever reason because they're not playing how they're supposed to play.
Their
The
secondary's
shows,
their
like,
secondary's a little weak, and they
it's
addressed
the
it. And
NFL.
it still wasn't
Yeah.
good. But I'm curious what your thoughts was when they were talking about trading Judy for a 3rd and 5th rounder. A lot of people were saying they should have done it, but like looking
No.
back on that, I think
No.
that's kind of like dumb. Like
No.
I don't know, like what are you gonna like if you're a team, if you're Sean Payton
and not
and
just Judy,
and you have
but
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a like. First off, you can't afford to write everything off. You have way too many picks tied to Sean Payton. You have way too many picks tied to Russell Wilson. It's like, dude, let's give him time. Obviously, like Sean Payton was starting to kind of run it like he was running with Drew Brees, and I think he's kind of understanding how Russell plays because Pete Carroll was able to do that. Pete Carroll was able to unlock how to get the best out of Russell Wilson. I think Sean Payton is now starting to understand that. So getting rid of a player like Jerry Jeudy, which you invested a high pick for. Let's see. I think you're better off seeing what you have with him than trading him away and getting a 3rd and 5th round, because 3rd and 5th round picks, that's a crapshoot. Like, you don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I've always been on the side where it's like, dude, fuck it, get rid of a 5th round pick, get rid of a 6th round pick, get rid of a 4th if they want it. And I'd rather have the player that's proven and know they can do something. Like if you get into the 2nd and 1st round zone, that's where I'm like a little like, all right, let's see. But like, all right, Broncos get a 3rd and 5th round pick for him. Who's to say that those picks end up working out?
And I
have a guy
agree.
who's been in the league. Look, he hasn't lived up fully to his potential yet, but he still has high upside. And you're still in a position where the offense is slowly starting to get better, and they're starting to understand each other. So, like, getting rid of him is just, to me, it made no sense.
Yes.
And I think keeping him is going to be. Hopefully, he can live
that's
up.
That's why I think this last win was so big right after the deadline, and against who we beat and how we beat them. Right, it kind of shows like, look at our potential. Like that game wasn't a fluke. Defense steps up. Russ is starting to click with his receivers. We got a running back. Williams just got back. Like, there's a lot of potential and upside for this season. Coaching is getting better. Time management is getting better. The play calling is getting better. And, to your point, to get rid of our young core in which, we already started from scratch, right? We had a couple drought years. We went through the draft. We got some players. Then, we signed a quarterback. That's pretty much all we needed. So to get rid of them, to call it quits, early on in this season, like I actually really didn't like that, because then we're starting from scratch all over again, and then you don't know what we're gonna get.
Yeah, and with such a huge contract with Russell Wilson, obviously,
you want to see somebody to throw the ball to. Yeah.
You guys are stuck. That's a huge ass contract for a whole bunch of years, and you want to see some. So I think overall, like you said, Joe, I think this overall trending to a successful season as compared to last year. I mean, you're getting more of what you probably should have got last year, but I think even if you guys don't make the playoff, I still think it's successful. You guys were better than you were last year, so that's all you can ask for. Just get better.
Facts.
So, all right, I guess we can talk about the Bills. Let's talk about the Bills, who kind of have a up and downs kind of season, projected early in the beginning of the season to be. Now we're at the halfway point. How do you feel, Julian, about the Bills, where they're trending, where they're standing right now? Will they make the playoffs is the question.
Oh, man. I don't know. I could easily see a world where the Bills are the outside looking in, because they haven't been able to remain consistent. And now, like what I'm saying here, according to Tankathon, which they're going based off a more statistical approach, they have the 4th toughest schedule in the NFL, and they're already, 5-4?
Yeah, 4 losses under their belt.
Like 5-4? Dude, it's going to be tough. I think the division is almost out of their hands. Obviously, Dolphins could bottle it. It's still possible. But it's going to be tough. And like we're saying, there's teams that are going to get better. You have the Houston, which is progressively getting better and better each week. You have Denver that's getting better. The Chargers are always competitive, that you always have to watch out for. And then now you have the top of the division with the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Jags. It's going to be tough. Like it's a really, really tough thing. I don't know if they make it. I don't know if they have enough talent defensively to do it. I think offensively they'll always remain in there. I just don't know if their defense can hold up enough to actually prevent teams from scoring and beating them out. So so the remaining schedule is Eagles, Chiefs, Dolphins, Cowboys, Jets, Chargers, New England, and Broncos. They have for the easiest opponents the Broncos and the Patriots.
Yeah.
But we've talked about
you're not gonna throw the Jets in there. Shit.
no. That's based off their win percentage.
Yeah, I mean,
So the as it stands right now, the Broncos and the Patriots are their easiest opponents. But like we just talked about, how the Broncos are progressing, they're getting better. I don't know, man. I don't know if they make it out, because I don't see them. I mean, realistically, they can win all these games. They have enough talent to win all these, but will they? Is 8 losses going to get you into the playoffs with this AFC? I don't think so. So I'm leaning towards that they don't make it, even though I think they will. But there's definitely an argument to be made if they don't make it. I think it's possible. Which coming into the season, I did not. I thought they were for sure like shoe in, especially when they beat up on the Dolphins.
Let's also look at who they lost to so far. So they have 4 losses. Who did they lose to?
They lost to the Jaguars.
Jags.
They lost to the Jets week 1. They
Bengals.
lost to the Bengals last week, and they lost to New England. That was a bad loss. They lost.
Oh wow! So 2 terrible losses under their belt: New England and the Jets, which we all saw week 1.
Well, I mean, week 1 that was a good matchup though. I mean, they're both teams were projected. Obviously,
Aaron
Rodgers,
and it's week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hyperventilate over them losing over the Jets, but at this point in the season, when you lose to the Patriots, you know, that's a bad loss. That's not a good. That's not like, oh, we eked one out. It was like 29-25, I believe the score.
And they still got to play the Patriots again.
Yeah.
For what that's worth.
Shit! So anything can happen in that game.
So yeah, and especially, you know, right now, if the playoffs were to end right now, I think they're ranked number 8. You know, above them, the Steelers at number 5, number 6 is the Browns, number 7 is the Bengals. Obviously, even with the Ravens being so that the whole entire division is
I mean, it's the AFC
stomping on them.
The AFC is such up in the air. I mean, so Bills are 5-4, Jets are 4-4, Chargers are 4-4, Steelers 5-3, Browns 5-3, Bengals 5-3, Ravens 7-2, Texans 4-4, Jags 6-2. Like, they're right in the thick of it, dude. Like, I mean, everybody is.
And you know,
every game matters. Like, legitimately, like every game is going to be a playoff game in this AFC.
Yeah, especially like, you know, we're talking about how they rank in the AFC. They got to make it out the division. Like I said, if you ever have a loss against the Jets already and the Patriots, like you're supposed to dominate that division. So that makes it kind of tough for them. On top of the fact that that other division is dominating over that last playoff spot. You know, right now they're number 8, but you know they still have to play the Jets again. Maybe the Jets can eke out another one with Patrick. You know, let's take Patrick Wilson.
Milf Daddy Zach Wilson.
So yeah, it's gonna be tough for the Bills. So overall, Georgia, do you think they make the playoffs? That's the question.
I mean, with that schedule, and you know, hoping they get that loss against the Broncos Monday night, not likely. Not likely, because I'm actually, you know, outside of being a Bronco fan, after everything we explained, how the Bills are doing and how we're progressing, doesn't look too good unless they have a huge bounce back game, which I'm hoping they don't against my team. But I mean, 5 losses already. Let's say if they were to lose Monday with that remaining schedule, I don't know.
So also too, they're 4-1 at home, 1-3 away. So they're not winning away. That's their biggest issue.
Yeah, they'll have a bye week in December, first week of December. So, and by then it will be snowing in Buffalo. It'll be a damn blizzard.
They'll probably sneak out a few wins up there in the snow. 2 point, 3 point, 3 point.
Tell you what, the Dolphins are lucky they played them early.
Fact.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. You got to come down to our bench where it's going to be steaming hot.
105 degrees.
700 degrees apparently on the sideline if you ask certain reporters.
Some people say.
All right, let's move over to Julian's team now because he's at the stadium right now. He just did a couple of interviews with the players.
Yeah.
He just did an interview with J-Law.
J Law.
T-Law. J-Law.
T-Law.
I am messing up names today, my guy. I am messing up names.
I can tell that Julian's been carrying these last few weeks, man.
Oh man, it's been a little rusty. Let's talk about the Jaguars. T-Law, Trevor Lawrence. How they're doing this season so far. Are they contenders for the playoffs? I mean, are they dominating, Julian?
Seems like it.
All right. I mean, I don't think the answer is contenders for the playoffs. They're winning. They're making the playoffs. It's in the hand. It's in their hand. Like there's no way they don't win the division.
Hey man, don't speak too soon. Don't.
They're not winning the division. But the real thing is, because I've been seeing it this past week, the disrespect that we get is unreal, dude.
I don't think anyone still respects us.
Like, dude, we get so much disrespect because they're not used to seeing us at the top. That's really what it is. They're not used to seeing us at the top, so they can't even fathom the idea of seeing that teal and black like at the top of the standings. But dude, the amount of hate that we get no credit for anything. And meanwhile, we're beating a lot of teams above 500. Like I think we have in the last, what was it? In the last 40 games, I forgot the stat, but it was something in the past 20 games, we have like, I don't know. I'm not even going to remember the stat because I'm going to butcher it. I don't even fucking remember. I killed it right there. But whatever.
you're pulling a game right now.
I pulled a game right there. Whatever. But regardless, they're beating teams above 500. They're beating.
So you're not the Dolphins. Is that where you're not the Dolphins? You're beating teams
not at all.
500.
We're not. We're not at all.
Try to throw that out.
Our 2 losses are games that we should have won that we gave away. The Chiefs game, we had no business losing that Chiefs game. We should have dominated the Chiefs. And then the same thing with the Houston game. The Houston game was completely lost to special teams and just not showing, and the offense not showing up. The defense has been a top defense in the NFL. I don't know where it ranks statistically, but whatever. I'm going to call them a top 5 defense in the NFL. They've been playing lights out. They lead the league in takeaways. The secondary's been playing out of their mind. Josh Allen has been lethal. The dude has been an absolute game wrecker. I think he's at 10 sacks already at the season at the halfway point. So he's on track to hit 20 sacks this season. He could be the potential leader. The defense has been rocking. The special teams has been great. The biggest issue with this team so far, and they're progressively getting better and better each week, is the offense. Not so much individual players, but more so the scheme. The scheme has just been so lackluster and vanilla. But as the season's progressing, it's getting better and better. The biggest issue that I'm kind of seeing is Calvin Ridley's just getting doubled constantly. And then with the way that the team has been playing offensively and the type of play structure is so horizontal and not enough vertical that it's just not lining up for Calvin Ridley to have a great season statistically. But
he had a great start for a few games.
Yeah, he's had a couple lights out games, but then there's been a couple games where he's been a little invisible. But I don't really blame that on him. I really blame it a lot on the scheme and the way we're playing, because the offensive line has been shaky. But in this past trade deadline, they did sign a guard, traded for a guard, which is great to see. So hopefully that can help solidify, and hopefully we can start seeing more vertical threats, because the interior of the offensive line was so bad. Trevor was getting no time. So it kind of led us to have to play more bubble screens and dink and dunks just to get the ball moving. But because of that, Travis Etienne is having a fucking amazing season. I think he's second in the league or third in the league in rushing. In total yards, he's definitely top 3. I don't know what exact place, but he's up there for total yards. So Christian Kirk's having a good season. It's just really, I want to see them get more lethal when it comes to throwing the ball down the field. You have a guy in Trevor Lawrence who has an arm and can sling it. Let him sling it. And I'm thinking coming out of this bye week, you got the 49ers up next, whose defense has been shaky since the injuries that they've had.
They're on a little losing streak right now as well. So.
And you're playing at home. There's probably going to be a lot of fucking Niners jerseys, but whatever. I think it's an opportunity for you to kind of reset. And I think we're going to see this offense, like I said, it's been getting progressively better and better. And I think coming out of this bye week, they're finally going to let it rip. Now that you got a guy and you feel like the offense in the interior is good enough to hold up, I think they're going to start letting it rip. And we're going to see Jacksonville really prove a lot of the doubters wrong. And stake our claim as the best. Because, dude, the thing that's bothered me the most about all this is like, look at the teams we're beating, and you're still saying we don't deserve. Like, meanwhile, like, because we haven't been blowing people out, but these have also been tough games. Don't get me wrong. I think we should. The problem is that we haven't had a game that separated us, that made us look like we should have stomped the fuck out of the Chiefs. Yeah. We should have stomped.
That's exactly the point I was gonna make.
We should have stomped the Bills. And the thing is, people aren't gonna watch Jags games. It's just what it is. So people are gonna watch the Ravens games. They're gonna watch the Chiefs games and think, oh, they're just better. But if you watch those Jags games, especially like the Bills one, for example, and the Chiefs one, we were dominating the Bills, like absolutely, like we were crushing them. Like it was a dominant game, and then in the second half we slowed down and let them come back. So they need to have a game where they can really separate themselves, and we have a couple big games remaining that I think it's going to be a tough stretch. And right now I'll list it out. We have the Niners,
tough game.
The Titans. Titans should be an easy win. Texans at Houston is going to be a tough game.
That's a trap game. That's a trap game.
Yeah,
I don't even think it's a trap game. I think they're anticipating. CJ Stroud's playing out of his mind. The Bengals is a tough game. Then you got the Browns. You got the Ravens.
Ravens. That's a gauntlet right there.
That's a gauntlet. And then you got the Bucks. You ended off with the Bucks, Panthers, Titans. So you should win out there. So, but I mean, out of these games, I think we beat the Niners. I think we beat the Titans. I think we beat Houston. Bengals, that's going to be hit or miss. I think we beat the Browns, and then the Ravens is going to be a true test to see how good we are. Because one thing with the Jags,
that this game, again, like with the 49ers, granted, they are on a losing streak, but remember how hot they started, and people thought they were invincible. Hopefully, not for your sake, but, for Niners, that they're hoping that Brock Purdy turns it around, right? This is the first time we're seeing him struggling, right? Throwing interceptions, having turnovers, and they might be getting Debo back this weekend. So that's something.
I'm not. The problem is they can't stop. They can't stop anybody on defense this past couple weeks. They've been looking rough, and we're at home, so. I'm not super worried about the Niners.
You need to win this game because you don't want to worry down the road. When you hit that gauntlet, you want to set yourself up right now in this moment.
Good thing is we have the Bengals at home and the Ravens at home. Both those night games. Both those night games at home.
Didn't you guys come back against the Ravens last season?
Yes, an incredible comeback.
I remember that.
Our record since that game is something insane. I think we've only lost like 3 times or 4 times since that game. So yeah, man. Like I said, we're gonna the biggest thing with the Jags that I've noticed is they kind of play to the level of their opponent. Like if they're a better opponent, they play better. If they're a worse opponent, they play. And I
lose the game they're not supposed to lose, and then you pull off. They need
to separate themselves. That's the biggest thing. If they want to be taken serious by national media, which we probably never will, we'll always be the butt of everybody's joke that we're moving to London or whatever fucking nonsense that they're going to say. Because at the end of the day, we're not a historic franchise. We're in a small market. We've sucked for decades, but now we're finally good. We're never going to be taken serious unless we actually on prime time. Well, the thing too is you got to do it in prime time. These 1 o'clock windows. So we got the Bengals Monday on prime time, and we have the Ravens on Sunday night. Those are games where you stamp yourself as like, we are fucking serious. You're going to take us serious, and we're going to be a perennial contender for the next decade.
Yeah,
you got to go in there and you got to beat the Bengals on TV and beat the Ravens. And until then, like, people are always going to not believe in us.
Yeah, I think the Jags easily make it to the playoffs. Obviously, coming out the division, I think they're the easy favorite. But those games, that gauntlet we talked about, Cincinnati, the Ravens, and
the Browns.
That's the gauntlet. Those are your playoff games. That's when you got to show out. Like if you want to be convinced or feel like you have confidence going to the playoffs. Those games you got to win. This is going to be, obviously the San Francisco this week is. Coming off a bye, and San Francisco's traveling to the East Coast. Obviously, you have an advantage, but Still a tough team. As I report this, ESPN is reporting Deebo Samuel has no designation. He's expected to return with no injury designation, but Trent Williams is still questionable with his ankle. They don't know if he's going to be able to play.
Oh, I hope he doesn't play because that means Josh Allen's going to be eating again. He's going to have 3 Brock Purdy sacks. I'd say the man's been unreal, especially with Trayvon Walker being very underwhelming on the other side of him. Even though we invested a number 1 overall pick into him, he's been super underwhelming rushing the passer. But man, I think definitely. I think they're definitely going to progress and be better. I think coming out of this bye week I think the bye week is good for them. They had a tough road trip, playing in London twice, coming back home, then have a Thursday night, then play another game on the road. It was a lot, dude. So much needed rest. But yeah,
we're gonna get into our pick'em this week. I feel like it's a good time to jump off.
Go.
Let's talk about the games.
Can you put it up, Gabe?
Pull up. Oh, you want me to pull up the?
Yeah, if you could pull it up.
Share screen. All right.
Wait, hold on. Jags had 2 games in London this season.
1 home, 1 away. We played the Falcons at home, and then we beat Buffalo.
Bro, no wonder why they're cracking on you guys. They're giving you guys every single London game that's available.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't give a shit if it's an away game. If anything, that helped us a lot, like being over there back-to-back weeks. So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They're going to have you guys do both of them, keep you over there, but instead of traveling back and forth. But I was surprised you guys had 2.
Yeah. And then come back home, and then right after that, Thursday night. So, all right, we got our what is this week 10? Week 10 pick'em?
Yeah, week 10. Yeah, week 9 was
week 9.
Week 9. Okay.
Was it?
No, week 10. It's week 10. Week 9, y'all had a break. Y'all had a off. Jags had an off. It's week 10. 5-4. The teams are 5-4.
All right. If we're wrong, you'll see it in the video. But all right, week 10. All right. First game, obviously, we are recording this on a Friday, so we're not getting the Thursday night game. But we have the Indianapolis Colts at the New England Patriots. Indianapolis minus 1.5. New England Patriots plus 1.5. With the odds leaning towards the Colts to cover their spread. And I'm going to agree with them. I think the Colts get over 1.5.
Sounds good to me, actually.
Sounds good to me. I'll go with the Colts as a boo-boo bowl. I don't give a damn about it. All right, so let's go on to the next game.
All right, San Francisco 49ers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. San Francisco is the away favorites at minus 3.5, Jags plus 3.5. To me, this is an easy bet. I'll take that plus 40, 142 on the money line, and that minus 110 on the spread. Give me the Jags here at home.
Wow. Gabe, I'm gonna let you go next, Gabe.
I think I'm gonna go a bounce back. 49ers bounce back. I don't care if they're traveling east. They're tough. They're going to tough
every time you pick the Jags, they lose every single time.
That's a fact. So that's why I'm going to go 49ers. They got Deebo coming back. They're on a 3-game losing skid. And just remember how dominant they were in the first few games. Just remember that. People thought they were invincible.
49ers bounce back for me and JoJo. All right.
We got the New Orleans Saints at the Minnesota Vikings. New Orleans Saints minus 3. Minnesota Vikings plus 3. Ooh. I'm going to go the Vikings at home here. I think Josh Dobbs is going to pull up another surprise game because he played out of his mind last week out of nowhere. Being hurt.
He was there 6 days or something?
Yeah. Didn't he know the playbook or nothing? Yeah, I like the Vikings here to actually get within 3, not cover. Get within 3.
I think I'm gonna go. Man, this is kind of a tough game for me.
Listen, the Vikings on a win streak, even though they don't got Kirk Cousins, but
I'm gonna go with the Vikings in this game. I feel like home field advantage. You got the dome. Give me the Vikings. I'm gonna agree that. I hate that the points is right on 3. You give me 2.5 or 3.5. Right on 3 bothers me, but give me the Vikings. They just win outright.
It's a little better.
I know Broncos are going to see them later on this season, but I feel like the Vikings are going to continue their momentum. They're at home, and they're gonna take this dub.
All right, let's go on to the next game.
We got the Tennessee Titans at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tennessee Titans plus 1.5. Tampa Bay Buccaneers minus 1.5. I'm going with the Bucs here to cover that 1.5. I think they win the game.
I could see that. as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll agree.
Baker's been playing pretty well this season.
They got
You
an
know.
easy ass division, to be fair, but
He's been playing
I
decent. I mean,
it's not like the
throwing some-
Titans. Even though I'll give credit to Will Levis, he's actually playing good for his rookie year. He's obviously not as good as CJ Stroud, but he's slowly progressing and getting better. But I still got the Bucks here.
Yeah, I got the Bucks as well. I think we're all Bucks. Bucks all the way.
all Bucks.
All right.
Got the Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens. Cleveland plus 6.5. Baltimore minus 6.5 at home.
Ooh.
I'm going Baltimore here to cover. Baltimore's just been very dominant. I'm not
Facts.
super high on the Browns. I think they've been eking out wins. I don't think they're that good of a team in general. But hey, a win's a win.
I'm gonna have to agree on that. I mean, both sides of the ball, offense, defense, with Baltimore right now firing on all cylinders, just being consistent. Lamar throwing touchdowns as much as running in touchdowns. So mid-season form right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna tend to agree. Normally, I would feel like the game would be closer, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens as well. I think we're all Ravens on this one. All right. Texans.
Ooh, this should be exciting.
All right, we got the Houston Texans at the Cincinnati Bengals. Houston plus 6.5, Bengals minus 6.5, with the odds being right down the middle, minus 110. I'm actually going to go Houston to get within 6.5, and the Bengals don't cover. I'm going with Houston.
But you're going Bengals win.
Bengals win, but they don't.
Yes, Bengals
They
win.
don't cover. Yeah, I agree. I think Houston has a lot of offensive firepower. We saw what happened last game. Bengals defense isn't all that.
Here's the tricky thing, though, because even though Houston played super well last week instead of CJ Stroud, the week prior they played Carolina and they looked abysmal. So it's like, man, which Houston team are you going to get?
Yeah.
But I'm going to lean towards the fact that, yeah, they're going to progressively get a little better. But so are the Bengals. I don't know. This is a tough one, but I'm going to go Houston, though, within 6.
I feel like the Bengals should win more by more than a touchdown. So I'm gonna agree with y'all. The Bengals win, but they don't cover the points. That Texans
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
win.
Bengals. Yeah, they're on a little bounce back, but again, they haven't been dominant at all.
They
So
haven't.
anything can happen.
All right, let's go to the next game.
I think we've all agreed except for the Jags-Niners game. All right, we got the Green Bay Packers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Green Bay plus 3, Pittsburgh minus 3. I'm going to go Pittsburgh with the cover.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh over. Pittsburgh over. I don't.
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh with the cover.
All right. Get the afternoon game.
Oh, this is an ugly
God!
game. Atlanta Falcons at the
happening?
Arizona Cardinals. Atlanta
Is this
minus 1.5.
Yo,
Cardinals.
give me the Falcons. I'm gonna jump into this one quick. I don't see the Cardinals beating anybody else this season.
Oh yeah, I mean, the
Don't
Cardinals
see
beat
it.
the Giants. So
I go
did
with
they?
the
No.
No, Giants. Didn't the
Who
Giants
the
come
Cardinals
back?
beat? No,
I know the
Cardinals beat the Cowboys. That's what it
Cowboys.
was.
They beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I know Falcons
I'm
had a
going
bad
Falcons
loss.
here.
Falcons had
Yeah.
a bad loss. I can't believe
Falcons
they're
have a couple injuries as well on that team.
Their quarterback sucks. So it
They had a
doesn't
running
really-
back out. They had a wide receiver out.
I think.
So-
I'm gonna go Falcons. They're tanking for Caleb Williams. Let me go. Falcons.
I think the Bears are taking.
Ooh,
All right, Detroit Lions at the Los Angeles Chargers. Detroit Lions
I like
minus
that.
3.5. Chargers.
I see
plus
that.
3.5. Ooh, this is
Listen, man.
close. I think we're finally going to separate here. I'm going Chargers with the
Wow.
+3, and the Chargers
Wow.
win the game at home.
Wow.
I am praying for the Chargers' downfall. And hey, Lions, do your thing, man.
Yeah, man.
We got that.
Lions got to eat. We eat knee soup
We-
this week. I'm going with the Lions over.
I'm going.
All right. All right, I got the Chargers.
Listen, we don't know what Chargers 4-4, right? So they're literally right in the middle, man. We
Chargers
don't
can
know
put
what
up points, man. Like that.
Yeah, but what their record, man? Every year is just like mind
It's still
blowing
the Chargers,
talent they
dude.
have on the field. I know they always have injuries. Granted, aren't they actually healthy this season, or am I missing something?
Yeah, relatively.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Williams has been injured, but
Yeah, there's
I
a
mean,
big
for the most
thing
part, they've
of-
been healthy.
Yeah, re-signing Eckler, but you know what? I think
Yeah.
finally we've decided the discussion's over. Tua better than Herbert, Not
No,
as
it's
good
not.
as everybody thinks. The
No,
discussion's
it's
over.
not.
We finished it. We finished
Yeah,
the discussion.
just-
We're not
just
talking
stop.
about it anymore. Discussion's over.
Just stop. No, he's not.
We'll make that decision at the end of the season. We're halfway. Not even halfway through the season. We're halfway.
It's not even close. Don't lie to yourself.
All right.
All right, the New York Giants at the Dallas
Oh,
Cowboys.
God.
Holy cow. Spread
We saw
is
week one.
plus 17.5 for the Giants. Dallas
Jesus.
minus 17.5.
I'm going
I'm
with that.
sorry.
spread.
I got to go with you're going with the Cowboys to cover?
I'm going with the
For the psychopaths that want to bet for the Giants for the money line and make a fuck ton of money, you can pick the Giants money line is plus 1,040.
Damn, you put $100, you get 1,000.
Yeah, you put $100, you get 1,000 on this game. So,
wait, just to lose within that 17 and a half?
No, for the money line. For the
money line.
Giants
The
to win outright.
Yeah.
Oh,
Giants
okay.
to win.
I'm going with the Giants on the spread. That's way too big for me to like.
Damn, who the hell is playing the Little Giants? God damn, I don't know.
Bro, they lost 40 to 6 first game of the season.
Yeah, but I'm not. That 17.5 is insane. Like I'm not. I'm dealing with the Giants here.
Let me look.
No, I don't see any improvement.
Bro, the Cowboys lost to the Cardinals. Like that.
Bro, they got 40 piece week one, and
I
then
understand.
they didn't score their first touchdown
I will
until
say-
like week 3 or week 4.
Dak- Dak is getting better. Dak was really shaky. In
Well,
the
and
beginning.
isn't Saquon still out?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I believe.
I mean, either way,
What
I'm still
offense
taking the
do they
17 and a
have?
half. At the end of the day, dude, it's an NFL team versus an NFL team. Like this isn't college. Like I'm not.
Well,
that 17
week
and a half-
one looked like a college game. Like
No.
Bama versus like FIU or some shit.
Is that SUNY? SUNY versus.
Everybody should
Bro.
just watch the Little Giants game instead of watching this game. But I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. Cowboys cover because they
Man,
beat
you
up
guys
on
are-
bad teams pretty bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, that's what makes them look so good. Is that they beat the
Well,
bad
they
team.
lost to the Cardinals.
Really bad.
I'm gonna keep on bringing it up. Lost to the Cardinals.
Did the Cardinals only win?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably. Washington Commanders at the Seattle Seahawks. Washington plus 5.5. Seattle
this is
minus
tricky.
5.5. I'm going Seattle to win by
Yeah.
Tud.
Seahawks at home. I'm going Seahawks at home. Travel. West Coast. I believe in Geno Smith. I'm a believer.
I'll do Seahawks, even though Commanders always win when they're not supposed to.
All right, let's go. Sunday night.
Ooh, I like this one.
You like this?
I
one?
like. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm praying on the Raiders' downfall.
They're playing a lot of
I'm praying.
downfalls.
And, it's wait, but look. So Raiders, they just cleared house, right? No Garoppolo. They fired their head coach. Did they win last game? Right? There was like a little spark. I don't
Look
remember.
up the schedule.
But I mean, the Jets are abysmal. But they came back against the Giants. I don't know if you saw that, which Giants had terrible clock management. Gave the game to the Jets, bro. That was insane. That should have been a Giants win.
Yeah, so the Raiders, they lost at Chicago 30-12. They lost at Detroit 26-14, and they beat up the Giants last week 30-6.
There you go. So they bounced back, but it was the Giants. So is that really like a bounce back game? Like,
Yeah, that's an easy win like that.
I mean, and they have the Jets back to back. Like, that's 2 give-me's right there. But like, I actually hope this game is really close, but the Jets come out on top.
Yeah, I think
And
the game. I mean,
look at the spread. Like, look, the spread is that close. Like, they're both like mediocre teams.
give me the Jets over. I don't know why this game is close. I know there's some injury that I don't know about. I don't know why they're giving the Raiders that much leeway. It's -1, so obviously you can't win by half a point.
I mean, dude, the
Jets have to win by
can't
2
put up
points.
Let's not forget this. The Jets cannot put up points at all.
Yeah,
So,
their
I mean,
defense is they're gonna heavily rely on their defense.
I'm gonna go with you though. I'm gonna go with the Jets. Backup quarterback, coach fired. Actually, the Raiders. No, never mind. I was gonna say. Every time, well, no.
He's like, oh no, fuck that. Abort, eject.
Well, you know how it's like every time a coach gets fired. Well, every time a coach gets fired, the team usually like rallies.
Yeah, it's and I was thinking that, and I'm like, you know what? And they beat the Giants, so I don't give a shit about that win. Like, that's not a bounce back win
Yeah.
to me. Like, you just beat the fucking Giants. Like that to me, that means nothing. So
All right, we all got the Jets here.
All right, let's go. Monday
Monday
night.
Night Football.
Game of the
final
week. Game of the week.
Final
America's game.
All right.
You already know where I'm at. Damn.
Denver Broncos at
course we're the
Buffalo
underdogs.
Bills. Broncos +7, Bills -7. I think Broncos definitely get within 7. I think Broncos are the spread easy. Now, when it comes to who's going to win the game, I'm probably going with the Bills at home. But I think if I'm a betting man, I would go with the Bills at home. But I think I like the Broncos with a +7. I'm kind of surprised the odds are leaning towards the Bills -7, and a lot of people picking that. I'm a little shocked by that, but I'm gonna go with Broncos here.
I'm looking at the weather. It's going to be 48 degrees in Buffalo. It's going to be a 12-mile-an-hour wind.
We're used to
That's
that,
bad.
bro.
That's not that bad.
We play in the mountains.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
used to
it's
that.
Colorado. It ain't that bad.
The weather ain't a factor, man.
It's
That's
nippy.
nothing. This ain't Miami.
snippy.
Bro. This ain't Miami.
It's snippy.
I'm going to go with the Bills. I wish it was 6.5 points, but I'm going to go with the Bills on the over. 10 points or more. I can see the Bills winning by 10 points or more.
Listen, bro. Broncos winning by a touchdown. Calling in now.
Wow.
We're gonna force Josh Allen into his typical 3 to 4 turnover.
He's going to run all over you guys. He's going to
definitely
run
not.
around that field.
I'm calling it right now. Josh Allen's having an interception and he's having a fumble. Calling it right now.
Okay. We'll see. We'll predict. We'll see.
Yeah, player prop, man. Get a Josh Allen interception. Player prop. There you go.
There we go. All right. Let's talk about, now that we get out of football, let's talk about the NBA season. Because right now, JoJo, I don't know if you've been watching, how many games you've been watching. We're in the middle now. We had the in-season tournament start last week. It was actually the beginning. Well, it was actually the end of October started. So we have some in-game tournaments. I think they played today. I saw some court change. I saw Boston change their court today.
Yeah, they do play today.
Yeah, so they had it off. I think they didn't play any games Tuesday because of voting, obviously. They just passed. But now we're back on the in-game season tournament. JoJo, I haven't talked to you in a while about basketball, but how do you feel about the in-game tournament so far? I believe the championship is actually in December, like the first week of December. So how's the in-season tournament been for you? Has it been as competitive and fun, or is it just...
I mean, it's the inaugural year, right? It's going to take a while to get people's buy-in. I'm looking at comments online. People are still questioning what the hell it is. Like, they're not even doing research. They're just like, what's the point of this? I'm trying to be open-minded. I actually kind of like it because Adam Silver, I think in the first game of the season, he had a press conference with the TNT boys, with Charles, Shaq, and them, Kenny, and he kind of explained the rules and even got them on the side of the in-season tournament because there's only one extra game added on, and the tournament's already built in around the season, so those games actually matter towards your record. The extra game is if you make it to the championship game. So I think it forces the teams to play harder in the first half of the season and not just worry about, hey, we're after the All-Star game, like it's make it or break it to the playoffs right now. So, and that energy is going to bring value to us fans watching it, right? And something else to look forward to. I mean, will that trophy mean anything to the players? Maybe not right now, but maybe down the road, that's another accolade that you can celebrate, right? Because it's new. Maybe they don't care. I do like the incentives, right? I'm not sure the total dollar amount if you want to look that up real quick. But I think it's like 100,000 per player, like if you win the tournament, which is really dope. I mean, like not everyone's on a max contract that's gonna win. So maybe role players want to step up, try to get that incentive. Rookies coming in, like who knows, right? I think it's really cool. And you can tell the NBA went all out. They have the trophy. They're redoing all the courts, which I'm sure that they invested a lot of money in it just to bring attention to it, right? To separate, like, hey, this is the in-season tournament, so that you can look at it and know the marketing of it. Like, okay, like this is different. Or you have people asking questions like, why are the courts being done, right? To draw attention. Yeah. I think it was really smart on their part to do that and to bring even just such a subtle piece, like to make you go to the game as well, right? Maybe people are buying tickets to see the new court for this tournament as well. I mean, I like it so far, right? I mean, it's only game one. I don't even know who beat who. I kind of forgot. I know Golden State won their game. But it's like pool play, and then you advance out of your pool and play the other teams and in single elimination.
And so to answer your question earlier, quarterfinals loser they get 50,000. Each player gets 50,000. Semifinal loser 100,000. The runners up, second place gets 200,000, and the champions get $500,000 for the winning. Each player.
Hey man, they're getting rewarded to do their job.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like it's an extra incentive just to play hard.
Yeah. And I think overall, the consensus is the players maybe they don't know exactly like what this means or what it is, but it seems like the nature of the tournament has been competitive. The guys are like, oh, we're just trying to get to. I think the final is going to be in Las Vegas, so they're like, oh, we're just trying to get to Vegas, for the tournament. So overall, I think it's overall cool. What I don't like, so the tournament overall, I think it's interesting. It's been a little bit more positive, or I've been a little bit more into it than I expected to be.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. The thing I like about it is, this thing is built for like teams that don't have high expectations. So you have teams with a high expectation, like let's say your Bucks, your Celtics. They're expected to go deep in playoffs. They have huge rosters. Damian Lillard, the big names, Golden State, LA, LeBron, all these big team names. They're expected, by the end of the season, they're expected to be deep in the playoffs. So I feel like this tournament is perfectly primed for those middle of the road teams that are trying to grow up, trying to get that acknowledgement. This team is perfect for them. A scrappy team. I feel like the Miami Heat are like prime to win this type of tournament.
Tournament teams,
where people think it don't matter. You know what? I mean, so I think it adds value to those teams, those middle tier teams that like, hey, let's win this tournament because at least that's an accomplishment. That's like a accolade that you can say like, oh, maybe we didn't make the play. Maybe we're the San Antonio Spurs. We're not expected to make the playoffs, but at least win the Indian tournament. We have something to be proud of. Raise the banner, I guess. But for teams, teams with expectations, I don't think this is like a high accomplishment. It's just like, hey, win games. Like you're expected to win games. You're really good. Win games. But for those scrappy middle of the road teams are trying to make a name for themselves. Kind of like the Kings or something. Kings they've been doing well compared to last season. Like some of these teams are like middle of the road teams that could bump up and elevate their status, I guess, or their.
And you know what I don't. And you know what I don't want. Now that you bring that up, right? We're talking about status and tiers. What I don't want to see or hear in the media, because they're gonna get these questions, right? Especially for the the championship contenders about the tournament, and I don't want them to be too nonchalant, like, oh, it doesn't matter. We have our eyes on the bigger prize and shit like that. Like, yeah, that may be true, but don't downplay the tournament just because obviously everyone's goal is to win a championship. Let's see if you even get there. But play hard, play to win. You know what I mean? Like don't play like this doesn't matter. That's what the fans don't want to see. Then you're not going to get the fans buy-in on it as well.
Julian, overall assessment of NCAA's tournament. He's a soccer guy, so he hates this shit.
I thought he would like it.
No.
Well, let's see. We don't know. Let's see.
Okay. I mean, you guys know. I think it's dumb. I think it doesn't solve the issue that the NBA has. I don't think. What's the whole point of what the NBA is trying to do? They're trying to make the regular season matter. People take it more seriously. Do these things. Why are we putting in something into the regular season? First off, this thing's what? You said it ends in December, so it's only a month long. You still have 3 more months of regular season. Secondly, as someone who watches soccer and knows what in-season tournaments are like, people don't give a fuck about in-season tournaments. They just don't. It's just the nature of it. People won't care. Like I don't want people to take it as like someone like, oh, I'm not open to change. No, it's quite the contrary. I think the NBA should change. I think there's a lot of things they can do to be better. I just don't agree with the ways they're going about it. I think adding play-ins, they shot themselves in the foot with that. Play-ins made the regular season mean less. The Heat didn't give a fuck. And then they came in, squeezed into the play-in, and now they're in the playoffs. You literally just hurt the one thing you're trying to do. And the argument that, the play-in is supposed to make teams make things more competitive towards the end of the season. And it's like, well, yeah, but then they didn't give a fuck in the beginning of the season because whatever, I can squeeze in a 9th place as long as we're middle of the road. Yeah. I can get in. I've always stood by the fact if you want the regular season to mean more, shorten the schedule. The reason why the NFL is the biggest sport in this country is because every game means something. Same thing in college basketball. Every game means something. It's about what you can do throughout the regular season throughout every game. This in-season tournament, I mean, yeah, I get you're making more money, but it doesn't lead to anything, which in soccer, what's also different, they try to compare it to soccer, but it's not the same because soccer, you have all different divisions. If you want to throw in like fucking G League teams in there and like ABA teams in there and like add all the different leagues throughout the country and you throw them in there, amateur leagues and people,
YMCA
pyramid. if it's a true open pyramid, then yeah, sure, it's cool. You'll see the upsets. You'll see G League teams beat an NBA team. That's what makes those tournaments so special and so interesting, is that you can see a USL team going for the US Open Cup, a second division soccer team, beat an MLS team. Or same thing if you go to England, you'll see a second division team beat a Premier League team. That's what makes those things so cool, is because those towns that have small fan bases, small towns, can see like these big teams. Like Messi might play in fucking Nebraska next year because of that tournament, the nature of that. So trying to compare that is not the same. It's not apples to apples. It's you're still staying within the league, secondly. And then two, like, I don't think these games should count towards the regular season because you play tournaments different than you would play a regular season. There's a different strategy to it. There's this different, you're going to play differently. The way you might, I don't know, maybe in like tournaments, you're going to play a more defensive style minded. Like people change up their styles based on like playing in tournaments versus the grind of a regular season.
You know, just like obviously in the playoffs, you know what I mean?
You're going to be more risk it all in a tournament than you are going to be like, all right, maybe we tone back, you know. I still stand by the fact, shorten the season. Adam Silver talked about shortening the season. I don't know why they don't. Players clearly don't want to play 82 games. 82 games is clearly too much.
They're going to lose. They're going to lose money. They're going to lose money on attendance.
Okay, I hate that argument, and here's why. NFL has 17 games. NFL has 17 games, and they make 10 times the amount of money that the NBA does. Why? Because of viewership. It's not attendance. NFL, I think attendance only makes up like 20% of their revenue. It's about viewership. People watch the NFL because every game matters. If you shorten the season and you make every game matter, look, me and you, all three of us have suffered from this where we don't watch the beginning of the season because, yeah, it doesn't mean shit. But if you shorten it to like maybe there's a game once a week or 2 games a week, people are going to be more inclined to watch it. You turn it into appointment style television. We know every Sunday there's a basketball game. Or every Saturday, there's a basketball game. Every Wednesday, we know this. It's appointment television versus like, I think hockey and baseball also have the same issue. I don't think it's just a basketball thing. So I just feel like, look, we'll see what happens. It could be successful.
I get it from NFL, though. But the thing is, NFL, you can't, because the nature of the sport, you can't.
I understand. But what I'm saying is the idea that you need these more games to make more money is just not. I mean, college football makes more than the NBA, and it has less games than the NFL. It has even less.
I'm not saying you need more games to make money. I'm saying that with the cadence they have now over the past years, like this 82 game season, maybe it is risky for them because it's not guaranteed that if they cut games down, they're going to make more money. Like they'll have to do the math themselves to make sure they're increasing viewership because they have less
they're already
games.
losing.
Also not guaranteed. No, and I get your point, but you know that's not a simple solution either. Hey, cut more games, we're going to increase viewership. That's not guaranteed.
Well, your biggest issue is that you feel that the regular season doesn't mean much. Their number one priority should be what are things that we can do to make the regular season mean more. I know it's more difficult,
they also
you can't just cut games. I know it's tough.
Yeah. And I'm not against that. But if it makes sense, then you know, of course, do it. If it makes sense.
Obviously, Adam Silver's looked into it, and it's definitely possible. I look. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like you look at, no one's gonna watch all these games. It's just it is what it is. It's I just look. I think in-season tournament might be successful for a couple years, but I'm looking for more a long-term perspective. Like I can easily see this thing 5 years from now, no one giving a fuck, unless there's nothing on TV. Let's be real. Are people going to watch this over the NFL? No, they're not. Like people aren't going to watch this over college football. No, like I don't. People are not going to watch.
Well, now you're just comparing sports, though. Like you're just comparing.
Well, what I'm saying is, if their goal is to get viewership, you want to gain more sports viewership. Like, I mean, yeah, I get obviously somebody who loves basketball doesn't care about football. You're always going to get that viewer.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like somebody like us who watches a mix of different sports and wants to watch big important games, like are we going to watch the Broncos versus Bills on Monday Night Football, or are you going to watch a pool play game of? I don't think that you're never going to win that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just feel that,
and I get your point. I get your point, but again, like you said, football is super short season compared to NBA. But like, how many games will it take to cut? In your opinion, I don't know if you thought about it. That would make it meaningful because I mean, regardless, no league or no sport is ever gonna go under 20 games. Like
no, I'm not saying under 20 games.
Yeah. I'm just comparing the sport like NFL. Like, yeah, we got what?
Look, if you look at overseas soccer, right? Regular season, depending on the league, is between 34 to 38 games. There's basically one game a week over the course of from August to May. So maybe you don't do one game a week because
in general, maybe 20 games for the season. You think would be something like sufficient?
No, I mean I would
cutting 20 games, not 20 games total. Like cutting 20 games from 82.
I think that's I think even Adam Silver's talked about bringing it down to 60. I think 60 would be a good start. Personally, I like 44. Something about the 40s just makes sense to me. I think that brings you to about.
Oh man!
I think, dude, because the biggest issue is appointment television. People underestimate appointment television. Like the fact that why do you think these Netflix shows and all these other shows are so like people tune in every Thursday to watch that show. People tune in every Sunday. People know no matter what at Sunday at 1:00 there's a football game on. I don't have to think about it. Yeah. I think that's a big thing. I think having appointment television is huge. Like you make Thursday night basketball like a fucking thing. Like it's Thursday night basketball. Like Monday Night Football is synonymous. People who don't watch football know Monday Night Football or like I don't know Wednesday night. I mean they kind of do like the Wednesday night like baseball and like Friday night app like for example Friday night Apple baseball. That's kind of that's a big thing. Like I know every Friday night there's Apple's gonna play a game. I think having that and I know NBA has it to an extent, but like, I don't know. I think 60 would be a good place. End game. I don't know. I would have to do the math. I don't know, but like if you could do 1 to 2 games a week, obviously the players want that. I think you can anticipate matchups too. I think
there won't be load management.
I think there's something. Yeah, there's no load management and the anticipation. There's something about like gearing up for the week to play somebody, not just for the players, but for the fans too. And I really think they should do more with the division stuff. I
would disagree. I don't see any league getting any less games. Right? That's never happened in the history of any sport where they got less games. Not in the major sports like baseball.
There's been a lot of talk about it. Now, if you baseball and basketball.
We're talking about basketball specifically. You want to modify the season. You know, I've always been an advocate of getting rid of these back-to-back games, especially when they're on the road. Get rid of back-to-back games.
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying by shortening the season. It's like
well, not getting. You're talking about changing the total number. Keep the total number of games. Get rid of the back-to-backs. Because one problem
elongate the season.
Yeah, start earlier. Keep the same amount of games. Start earlier.
Spread the games out a little more.
Yeah, you want to complain about players sitting out? They're hurt too much. They're sitting out. Spread the games out more. So start earlier. Give them more time for rest. So instead of resting on game days, they can rest on off days when they're not playing. Getting rid of back-to-backs. As far as in-season tournament, like I said, I think this is designed for these middle-tier teams, not teams without expectations. This is not a huge advancement of the sport. Teams that are middle of the road, that they're scrappy, they think they can make a playoff spot. This is what it's built for, and this is year one. I'm not gonna poo-poo it. This is year one. Yeah. The incentive right now, they have players are getting money. Maybe they put other incentives. Maybe if you win this tournament, you get an extra lottery ball. So when you get to a draft pick, maybe the franchise gets an extra lottery ball. Maybe if you win the tournament, you're guaranteed to play in. Whether you win or lose in the season, maybe you're guaranteed to play in. You're guaranteed a playoff spot. Maybe they can do other incentives.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is year one. I'm not gonna poo-poo it. So far, it seems like it's been going good. It seems like it's been positive. We'll see how we get to the end of it. Like, it's going to be kind of weird.
But you're still not solving. The problem is you're still not solving the problem that the regular season doesn't mean anything. This tournament still only lasts for so long.
I mean, that's such a broad statement, though. Like, I know what I'm saying is regular season doesn't mean anything, and I know what you're trying to say. But like, are you saying
when I'm saying not mean anything, you're obviously they obviously feel the need to do something because not even just from the player's sake, from viewership sake. clearly viewership is down. It's kind of an issue across all sports, but basketball's taking it. I know basketball and baseball are taking it. It's particularly kind of hard.
Viewership,
domestically,
or is it attendance, or a little bit of both?
I think it's both, honestly. I don't know about attendance, but I know for sure viewership. I know for sure, which at the end of the day, viewership is the biggest metric. Attendance, these teams don't make shit off attendance relative to the ratio, at least when it comes to basketball. I know. Other sports, it's a little bit different. But I still think you have this issue, though, of 82 games that still need to be played. To me, it's like you're still not making it a reason for me to watch the beginning of the season or watch the other. How many games would you, if you make it to the final, how many games is that?
Well, real quick, Julian, to cut you off, not to cut you off. So this is what I'm thinking now too, right? You're saying, I'm just going off your point, the beginning of the season doesn't quote unquote mean shit. I think that's why they put this tournament in the beginning of the season to make it mean something. At least
let me reword myself. Maybe not the beginning of the season.
Because at least they did it before All-Star break, right? It gives you a chance like to fight for something before All-Star break. And then after All-Star break, you already know like it's crunch time for the playoffs.
Okay, so let me reword myself.
Where they placed it.
Not the beginning of the season. The whole entire season. The regular season as a whole. Because
honestly, I think
you got to think about it.
There's might be to take out the play-in, is what you're saying. Just remove the play-in.
Okay, if a team gets knocked out, what's any different? Okay, you get knocked out early. Okay, say Miami gets knocked out early. They get knocked out of the pool stage. Let's just say. They're just going to do the same thing they've been doing for years. Like these teams that are doing load management, like you get knocked out early. You're still not.
Well, they have rules against load management now. They actually, Adam Silver had a press conference about load management. There's rules and repercussions for load man. Like they have rules now. I don't know the exact game. If you want to pull it up, like you can't have more than 3 stars sit out.
I don't understand why the NBA PA doesn't just request shortened seasons. I don't.
Well, listen. Look,
I don't think that's going to happen. That's what I'm saying.
Before you form the rest of your opinion, listen to the rules for load management because they actually did something about it this season. I don't know if you knew about it, but there's something set in place.
Well, load management to me is what's the word? It's a branch. I can't think of the word at the top of my head.
It's a tactic to heal players.
No, load management is one element from what the bigger picture of the regular season to me being too long. The reason why players have to do load management is because the season's too long, they feel. The reason why viewership's down is because the regular season's too long. The reason why players don't take it as serious is because you still come down to the problem that you're not making the regular season mean much. So players feel the need to if you incentivize to me, the way you incentivize a player to play hard every single game is if you make those games meaningful. You still come to this issue where not all games are meaningful. Yeah. And until they figure out a way, maybe not shortening season, I still believe like the best way you do it is shorten the season. Like,
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen in the history.
I don't think it's out of this world, though. I mean, like Adam Silver's.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea, but if you're an advertiser, you say, "Hey, I'm paying you billions and millions of dollars for this advertisement, and now you're going to give me less games for me to advertise, so that's less advertised time. Whatever company, Dick's Sporting Goods or Nike or Adidas, whoever the sponsors are, Gatorade, they're going to give me less sporting time, but I have to pay more, or I have to pay the same price. I'm paying less for the same price." Less games, less time, but I have to say the same price or pay even more?
No, because you're paying per impression by the amount of viewers watching. By shortening the games, you make games mean more. It means people are going to watch more. That means that advertising spot's worth more. The reason why NFL makes more money is because there's more people watching. People pay for impressions. People don't pay for the amount of spots. I can pay for like a bunch of different spots for like all kinds of TV programming, but always the most expensive programming is always going to be that nighttime TV show at like a Friday night. Like that's just people don't pay per the amount of spots. And I think especially too, a lot of these teams are on local TV market deals. Those things aren't paying that much in comparison. Like New York, Chicago, and LA, those, and maybe Texas, those three are probably those teams make the most money because they're local markets. But you're still not how many viewers really is Oklahoma City getting? Like, let's be real. Like, I mean, it's a tiny market, and I think the best way to get more viewers is people watching the game. Look, college football are literally town, like how many people are in Tuscaloosa? You know what I mean? But people want to watch Alabama because these games are important.
or even Gainesville, which they always have sellouts. And
But
I think we can all agree that we want to see change, and I'm glad that it seems like the NBA is proactive in making change,
trying.
which is a good thing. I don't agree with the changes they have. I think this stuff might work for a couple years, but I'm looking at the long term as somebody who watches a sport with in-season tournaments. I can see the writing on the wall personally. I think a lot of people who watch a lot of basketball haven't seen that. I'm not saying there are people that haven't, but I just don't. I can see it working for a couple of years because it's fresh, it's new, and people liking it. But like, I'm looking 5-10 years down the road. Like, I can easily see this being gone and just being a blimp in the NBA history.
oh, we'll see. Like I said, I disagree with that notion of getting less games. NFL, they didn't reduce their games; they actually added a game, and I'm a big proponent of
because adding one game it's still
And I still feel like the NFL should add an extra bye week. They should have 2 bye weeks, especially now they're traveling international. They should add extra bye week. If you're playing more games, you're flying international. Add extra bye weeks.
But at the end of the day, if the NFL had 82 games, like hypothetically, say they could, the games wouldn't pull as much viewership. We're literally watching. I was watching Week 3 football. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Jaguars because I knew this matchup was going to have playoff implications for the number 1 seed to get the home field. And this was Week 4. And it looks like it's actually going to come out that way.
Completely different sport.
Yeah,
I know it's a completely different sport, but I'm talking about the emotion side of it. The fact that I'm watching
sometimes I get it. Sometimes fans in their sports, I'm not saying all, love the journey of it. You have a chance to see the ups and downs in a long baseball season, right? Or you get to see it in NBA. Like maybe putting it.
Fans. You're always going to have those fans. Their goal is to bring on more fans.
Maybe some fans feel like you're going to take away more entertainment from them, right? Like everyone's been watching the NBA for how long? And the Jordan years, the Kobe years, all these years, 82 game season, same turnout, all the hype was there. Again, there are a lot of problems within the NBA in terms of like the load management.
We're also living in a different time.
But again, it is a different time. So you're saying in this generation, there's a lot more distractions out there, right? Like there's other options.
I can't watch 82 games. I just can't. Yeah. I can't watch 82 games.
Well, I mean, they're competing with a lot of things.
Possibly free. I can watch that. Like, I mean, I can. What I'm like, I just can't watch 82 games. And then also, if you want to talk about attendance, like how much is it? You want to talk about money? Like how much does it cost to keep the arena open 41 games out of the year? Like the teams could potentially be making more money by not having to open up that many times because you still got all these operating costs and everything.
I mean, that's just the cost of doing business.
I don't know how Miami Marlins make money.
You got to play the sport somewhere. You got to play the sport somewhere. You're not going to play it at your local YMCA.
I understand, but what I'm saying is the more games, obviously, the more you have to keep it open, which means if you lessen the amount of games you want, if you're an owner, it's like, well, shit. Yeah, if I'm going to get more people in the stadiums, I can charge more per ticket. I can, it's a little bit more demand. I'm going to get more viewers versus like if I have double the amount, I'm going to get less people. Then means my operating cost still stays the same. So it's not like it's changing. And I'm making less money. So, like, I generally don't believe. I don't know how I know switching sports. I don't know how the Marlins make money off attendance. They're clearly making a
revenue
profit
sharing. Revenue sharing.
Revenue share. It's clearly off revenue share, and it's in TV markets.
Yeah, that's nothing to bark at. So yeah, again, I'm not gonna poo-poo it. Maybe Julian
spot to leave off on this stuff.
I'm not as pessimistic. Maybe maybe they change it in the future.
I'm hopeful, and I get it. It might not solve the root problem what Julian's trying to solve, but I think it's a step in the right direction. You just want to make games more meaningful.
Yeah.
Now, do I like the plan? Hell no. I think they tried it. They need to get rid of it because again, you feel like you need to earn those playoff spots, but these next few games, right? For a play-in tournament, to have some meaning, 4 or 5 games, like that can help your record in the long run. to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, the
So I think
play-in
it's the right
definitely
step.
made it worse. I think you really diminished that a lot. I mean, I'm seeing it now in the MLS. They added play-in games, and now the season, it's night and day. Like how much less it means. Like being able, like you can afford to lose a game, and you don't want to have that feeling for every single team. But I do want to end it on this one last segment. I think it's going to be a fun new segment. Basically, it's trivia. So we always did these short one-offs, but now I think we have an official thing. So each person's going to get 10 questions. Each person, there's a total of 20. Each person's going to get 10. If you get your answer wrong, the other person has a chance to steal. The person with the most points wins. I'm going to keep track of the points here on my side, and we're going to alternate each week the people who make the questions. Who's going to make the questions? So are you guys ready? It is a mix of NFL and NBA, since that's what we talked about today.
All right.
So if I don't know, I'm just gonna calmly say pass because I'm not gonna embarrass myself.
Yeah. Or Gabe can steal.
All right.
You guys want to flip a coin? You guys want to rock, paper, scissors to go first?
No using Google there, Gabe. All right. I know you're on your computer there. You got
Gabe texted me. He's like, "Yo, send me the answers." He just texted me now.
You have the answer key.
So, pick a number 1 through 10. Whoever's closest goes first.
2.
8.
I was 6, so Gabe goes first.
All
right. Gabe, your first question is, what year was the first Super Bowl played?
I'm going to go...
I don't know this shit.
1944.
Okay, we're going to do this one basically who gets the closest. So
okay, yeah, I think that's right. 1944, 1947.
He goes one up.
JoJo is correct. It was not correct, but he's the closest. It was 1967, a lot sooner than you guys thought.
Oh. I was thinking like Super Bowl 50. I'm like, I'm going to do the math in my head, but obviously I'm bad at math.
It's like the Price is Right.
I just thought about that.
It's like the Price is Right. I just make sure I didn't go over, but I was close enough.
All right.
1 point on the board.
JoJo gets a point. All right.
1960.
Now this is your turn, JoJo. Your turn. All right. Which NFL team has the most Super Bowls?
Oh. Damn, hold on. I gotta go Patriots.
Incorrect. Gabe, what is your answer?
I'm going to go Green Bay Packers.
Also incorrect. Neither of you guys get a point.
All right, so wait. All right, let's wait. Don't. All right, we'll go back. Back and forth.
You go back and forth?
Right. I have another option.
Oh, you want a process of elimination?
I'll be here forever.
I want to go.
Who's the closest by location? a map location.
Is it the Denver Broncos?
Incorrect.
Denver Broncos.
Gabe,
That's a new
this
franchise.
is your last shot. If not,
they have like 4 or 5 rings. The Broncos.
No, I'm gonna go. Who's a big team in the '70s? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. The. Who cares? I'll go with.
Viewers are looking at us like, yo, you guys don't know shit.
The Colts.
The Colts.
What? No. Okay. First off, you were on the right track, Gabe. You were thinking the 1970s. Who was big in the 1970s? Terry Bradshaw. Pittsburgh
Steelers.
6
That's right.
Super Bowl rings. So neither of you guys get a point.
Why you say the Broncos?
Now.
Broncos is a new franchise. That's not Denver.
No, it's not. Broncos is older.
A newer franchise.
I guess so. All right,
How
Gabe,
many do they
now
have?
your turn. Who is the all-time leading scorer in NFL history?
Leading scorer?
Yes.
I'm not gonna know any of this.
Dude, I feel like these aren't that hard. Like,
Walter Payton.
Is that your final answer?
Walter Payton.
Here, I'll give you a hint.
Oh, yeah, I got one.
I'll give you a hint. I'll give both of you guys a hint. Well,
wait, let me get my guess first.
Oh, get your pick. You go first, and then if not, I'll give you a hint.
Jerry Rice.
Incorrect. All right. So the hint is, it is a kicker.
Oh, I mean that makes sense. I was thinking.
Yeah, I know. You guys have to once you.
Is it the?
No, it's Gabe's turn. It's Gabe's turn. Go, Gabe.
The Grammatica brothers. To combined. Both of them combined.
Combined.
Bill and
No.
Martine Grammatica.
Okay. All right, JoJo, your chance to steal.
I'm gonna give a team. I'm gonna give a team because I don't know
No,
names.
no, give me a person.
I don't know. I don't know kickers, bro. Like,
It's
Janikowski.
wait, the kicker from the Patriots in the Tom Brady era.
Oh, you mean
all right. JoJo gets a half point.
Let's go.
Adam Vinatieri? Yeah, he played for the
Adam
Colts
I
too.
Vinatieri.
knew who it was. I just don't know his name, bro.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, he did play for the Colts. All right, JoJo, this is your turn. Who won the first NBA championship?
Oh
first
shit.
one. NBA. Listen, NBA.
NBA, not no ABA,
Not
NBA
ABA.
merger. Can you tell me the year?
1947.
Yeah, that doesn't help. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Lakers.
No.
Boston.
Incorrect.
Boston.
Nope, you already said it. You already
Boston.
said it.
No,
There's only
it's
two teams to pick from. There's only two teams to pick from. It's Boston or
or I know 50-50. Shit.
Oh, Gabe gets a point. All right.
Damn. I mean, look,
right.
it was a coin flip.
All right. I believe this is a little dated, but
They're all dated, Julian.
no. This answer, I don't think it. All right. Who is the NBA? Gabe, this is your question. Who is the NBA all-time leading scorer?
Bro.
We just talked about this, didn't we?
Yo, take your guess. You got 10 seconds.
It's not.
One.
It's not LeBron James. I'm gonna go.
You got 10 seconds.
The ultimate. I'm gonna go. Will Chamberlain.
Incorrect. JoJo, your chance.
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Oh, I forgot.
Don't play with me.
So yeah, he beat Kareem. On here it has Kareem, and I was like, I know that's not right. All right,
Glad
so
Gabe didn't
another
know that.
point for JoJo. All right, JoJo, this is your turn. Which NBA player has been named Finals MVP the most times?
Shit. Finals MVP. Okay, Jordan has 6. Damn. I'm gonna have to date back to Bill Russell.
Incorrect. Gabe, your chance to steal.
Robert Ory.
Incorrect.
I
Neither
know.
of you guys get a point. The answer is Michael Jordan. I felt like that was also easy.
No, but
These are not-
Bill Russell has 11 rings, so I don't know. Maybe he had one up on Jordan. I don't know, but I know Jordan had 6, so he has
All
the
right.
most. That's interesting.
We're gonna skip this one because it's kind of a stupid question. You guys aren't gonna get this. It was the first player drafted in the.
By the way, we've been pretty awful. It's been all pretty bad.
Yeah,
This is-
Gabe has
sorry,
1 point.
dude.
JoJo has
It shows
2.5.
how much we actually know, but
2.5.
that's why I like trivia because you never know.
All right, Gabe, this is your question. Who holds the record for the most rushing yards in the NFL in a single season?
In a single season,
Oh,
Yes.
I feel like I know this.
single season rushing record.
Yo,
So
if
many
I get
great
this
running
right-
backs. So many great running backs. I'm gonna go Ricky Williams.
Incorrect. JoJo, your chance to steal.
Adrian Peterson.
Incorrect. Close though. Adrian Peterson got very close. I believe he's second. He was trying to beat
Okay, I
Eric
remember that
Dickerson's
season.
record from the Los Angeles Rams.
That's not my era, so
Man, I would smoke this. I remember the only reason I know because I remember he had the goggles and then Adrian Peterson was chasing that. All they kept on talking about was, all right. I believe this is JoJo's turn. Which NBA team has the most championships?
Oh, that's easy. Wait, is it?
is it?
Wait, the Lakers.
Is it?
Incorrect. Gabe,
Boston.
Don't say Boston.
Celtics.
Don't say-
Boston.
There's only two teams to pick from. Is either Boston or LA. There's only two teams.
Bro, I thought
All right.
LA went up them on the last chip. Or are they off by 1? Is it
No,
17?
they're off by
18?
more. I can't remember.
Boston has 17.
17. And
I don't know
Lakers
how
have-
much the Lakers have. I know it's
That's
close.
gonna be like 12 or 13, something like that.
No, I think they're right there, bro.
I don't know.
All right, Gabe, this is
Damn,
your
bro.
question.
Maybe they started in 1944.
Yo,
maybe.
2 questions wrong off of picking the Lakers.
Gabe, JoJo's gonna be pissed if this, all right. Who is the only player
Who's this for? Who's this for?
This is for you, Gabe.
Okay.
Gabe. Who is the only player to win a Super Bowl MVP with 2 different teams?
Oh, it's Tom Brady.
Incorrect. JoJo, your chance to steal.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Damn, his
Denver
sorry ass.
Broncos.
His sorry ass. That's a Bronco question. Why you ask?
The Broncos.
He had a terrible season that year, by the way. It's terrible, awful.
All right, JoJo, this is your question. Who holds the record for the most career points scored in the NBA playoffs?
Oh, LeBron.
Correct.
Yeah, for sure.
Why you give him all the LeBron questions. You give him all the LA questions. He's answering all LA.
Look,
all
it
the
should go that
Broncos
way.
questions.
Hey,
Yo, if-
he won he was closest. He got the thing. That's what he
Closest to the pin. All right.
is.
I'm cooking
All
game
right.
right now. I'm cooking
right.
you, boy. And I could have had those two Boston.
You got a half point, bro. You got a half.
You
You
do
barely
gotta
cooking me.
All right, Gabe. Which NFL quarterback has the most consecutive starts?
Starts. Oh, I'm gonna go Eli
I
Manning.
feel like
Incorrect, JoJo.
yo, I was gonna guess Eli Manning too. Hold on, I
Because
gotta.
he's such a New York guy. Look at this guy.
No, dude, he went. I don't know how many starts before he got benched, and he cried that game.
Yeah.
I remember that. Consecutive starts,
Mhm.
like without injuries or anything, or just.
Including injuries, consecutive start.
All right, is it a quarterback?
Yes. Oh, I said NFL quarterback with the most.
Oh, my bad.
consecutive
Okay, so it is a quarterback. Philip Rivers.
Incorrect. It is Brett Favre. 297 consecutive starts. I thought you guys would know that.
Oh,
Brett
yeah,
Favre's known for the
I
Iron
forgot.
Man record.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
He even
No.
played the day after his father died.
Oh shit.
All right.
He
Who
also-
was the old? All right, this is for you, JoJo. Who was the oldest player to score 60 plus points in an NBA game?
Oh,
Damn. Kobe.
Correct, Kobe Bryant.
His last game, he dropped.
He's 37 years old in 2016.
Yep. Kobe.
All right. This is a swish game, a layup. You got this, dude. This is all you. This is a comeback. Also, for the viewers and the listeners, JoJo has 5.5 points. Gabe has 2.
Give me my half.
All right. Who holds the record for the most receiving yards in a single NFL season?
Jerry Rice.
Incorrect. JoJo, your chance to
Fuck.
steal.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Survey says.
Oh man. Yo, the way he emphasized the. Oh shit. Damn. I should know this.
Wide receiving season
Single season record. Single season
wide
record.
receiver.
Yeah, I'm gonna laugh, but I'm gonna go Cooper Cup.
Oh my God.
Oh
It was
my-
Calvin Johnson. He had 1,000.
I was about to say Megatron. I was about to say Megatron.
yards.
He was on the Lions, right? Yeah.
Yes, in 2012.
Look,
Ruined
out,
his career.
fans, listen. You're gonna laugh. I only said Cooper Cup because he was.
Mine's better. Fucking what's a better answer? Put it in the comments under YouTube. Who had a better answer? Jerry Rice
Calvin
or Cooper Cup?
Calvin Johnson beat Jerry Rice's
Listen,
record.
look,
See?
he
there you
didn't
go.
know LeBron
I'm in the
was
ballpark.
NBA leading scorer, and he
I'm
just
in the
broke
fucking
record
ballpark.
last season. How do you
To be
not
fair,
know?
also what makes Gabe's thing too is Jerry Rice to this day still holds like almost every single receiving record outside of that
except
one now,
except that one.
which he lost, which he did have.
I
at
couldn't.
one
I
point.
couldn't remember.
All
I was gonna say something else, but I know the answer would have been embarrassing. So
All right, so this is your turn, Gabe. Correct, JoJo.
Yeah.
You went first. Okay.
no. Gabe went first on that one.
Oh yeah, that's right. He said Jerry Rice. Yeah. Okay. So this is you, JoJo. Which NBA coach has the most wins in league history?
Greg Popovich.
Incorrect. I don't think you guys are gonna get this.
What? I got a second
It's
guess.
It's an old name. It's an old,
I feel like I know who it is.
Red Armbacher.
no. It is Don Nelson. 1,333 wins.
Bro, how are we
35.
gonna know that? Modern
Yeah. I
era
don't-
is definitely Greg.
It's a league.
Yeah. Well, this is
He's
our
doing
first,
league.
this is our first
Yeah,
run
yeah.
through. We're
Got
gonna
you.
clean it up.
It's just like the in-season tournament. Okay, it's our first time. We don't know what's going on.
It's meaningless.
We're trying to make it more
fans
exciting. We're trying to make
our
the end of a
fans like,
podcast
what
more
is it?
exciting.
Like, we didn't tune in for this trivia that you guys are shitting about.
Awful trivia. People are like, "Fuck, you didn't say LeBron. This guy's an idiot."
All right, Gabe. You know what? I'm just gonna skip this one. You're not gonna get it. Okay, Gabe. This is a layup. Which NBA team has the most wins in a regular season?
Regular season wins. Oh, that's gonna be the
that's
Bulls. The Bulls.
Incorrect, JoJo.
Golden State Warriors. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
forgot.
Gosh, Gabe, I'm giving you layups, man.
Thank you very for those listening out. It just shows Gabe's age, and he's not in tune with what's going on right now.
All right, JoJo. Who
Respectfully.
holds the record for the most sacks in an NFL season?
Most sacks.
I can tell JoJo Gabe knows this one. I can see.
No,
it in
I
his
don't.
face.
I have no clue.
Most
I'm going through the Rolodex of all the sack leaders.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna go with someone I know. I don't. Von Miller. I don't know.
Incorrect.
The sack leader. Reggie White.
Incorrect. JoJo, you're a New York guy, man. It was Michael Strahan.
That was about to say.
20 and a half sacks
Wow.
in 2001. I knew, man. I know a lot of it. I was spoke y'all.
It's good. You know the fucking answer when you look at him.
Oh no, I know these.
Fascinating.
I remember. This is the thing is, I remember like a lot of them talking about these records.
No,
People-
wait till we get Julian on the panel next week.
All right,
We're gonna
all
get him
right,
on the end.
Who? All right, this is for you, Gabe. Who
How
was
many
the
more do we
first-
have?
This is the last two. Got two more. Gabe's
All right,
got
two
one
more.
more, and then you got one more. All right.
All
So
right.
pretty much Gabe's out of the race, but we're gonna go with it. JoJo pretty much won.
Gabe got cooked.
All right.
Fucking half point.
Who?
I'll donate.
Actually, you know what? I got an idea. I got an idea for the last one.
We're gonna do Jeopardy. Final Jeopardy. Let's go.
Double up.
Gabe, who was the first African American head coach in NBA history?
NBA history.
Yes,
Damn.
he was a former player. That's your hint.
It's not Doc Rivers. It's not Doc Rivers. First back player. Damn.
Hold on. I was gonna guess Doc.
No, it's not. I'm trying to think of these old teams, older franchise teams. Damn, who was the coach? No, he was a college coach, but he passed away recently. People liked him. I don't know his
Oh
name.
man.
Liked it.
I have no clue. I'm gonna go Isaiah Thomas. I have no clue.
JoJo, go.
Maybe if I hear the name, I'll know it.
You'll know the name. You guys know the name.
All right. Can I get a team? Can I get a hint? Can I call for a hint?
Oh, how you calling it? You fucking
No,
call
he
a
can't
friend
because
too?
Gabe didn't get a hit.
But he didn't ask though. That's the difference. Gabe didn't ask.
Please, let's end this segment. Please,
Like,
just
can I get a
guess.
team?
You're already fucking winning. You need to have more help.
This is tough. I'm gonna go with Doc Rivers.
Doc
No,
Rivers is not.
It was you were on the right track with Boston, but it is Bill Russell for the
Bill
Boston
Russell.
Celtics
I didn't know he coached.
Oh, he was a
I
coach.
didn't know he
in
coached.
1966.
Is he like a player coach? Is this like a player coach situation? 1966.
How am I supposed to know that?
Player coach. I
right.
should. Oh man. Should
All
have said
right,
Pat Riley.
I mean,
Pat Riley's
even
GM.
the idea, even the
Who's
idea
the
that I
first
had.
player to become GM?
Yeah.
All right,
LeBron
even
James.
the idea that I had, it won't even work for Gabe because he would still lose. But next week we're gonna do like maybe you wager your points, like you can wager them. But even
Okay.
if Gabe was to wager him, he would still lose. JoJo just has too big of a lead. But all right, this is for you, JoJo. Who holds the NFL record for the most receiving touchdowns in a season?
Receiving touchdowns in a season. Jerry Rice.
Incorrect.
Can't recycle answers, bro.
Bro, he said he led in every other receiving category except for.
Okay, I didn't say every. I said almost. I want to say.
I mean,
I
all right, so that was.
I
a good guess.
maybe said every, but I'm pretty sure like I said.
You
Almost.
see that? Look,
It was a trick. It was a trap question.
What was the answer?
Who'd you pick, Gabe?
Michael Irvin. I don't know.
Incorrect. It is
Michael
Randy
Irvin.
Moss.
Oh, catching people running
touchdowns.
over Randy Moss.
23
Damn,
touchdowns in
that's dope.
2007, and that is it. The total is JoJo 6.5 points.
Ridiculous.
Gabe,
You should feel
2
ridiculous with that
points.
half point.
2 points. 2 points, Gabe.
I had good guesses. I was in the fucking ballpark, okay? You said Cooper Cup. I said Jerry Rice, Cooper Cup. Put in the comments who had a closer answer. I'm closer
what we're
to the
gonna
pin.
do next game is we're gonna like be able to wager our points. So like Gabe, you could have like put in all your chips for your 2 points, but you'd still only come out with 4, so it didn't matter because Joe just had the lead. But if it's closer, next time we're gonna do a wager. Like you can wager the amount of points.
Man, let me take this call. I'm gonna give you a whole bunch of baseball questions. We're gonna do top 3
Oh,
catchers.
shit, you're gonna fuck me up.
We're
Catchers who.
We'll do Julian. We'll do football. He might know something. And
Yeah.
We're gonna throw him baseball in his ass.
I'm gonna
See how
do
much-
top 3 catchers who have throwouts to third base and see how the fuck you do. Outfielders with the shortest
No,
crawl
first
hop
off,
to third base. So let's do that.
I was very fair to you guys on a lot of these.
Bro,
questions.
what outfielder robbed the most home runs?
Who had who had the longest bunt? We'll do shit like that. I'm gonna give you fucking baseball questions. See how the fuck.
No,
you
that's
feel.
horseshit because my questions are actually like
Those are actually really good questions. A lot of them a little outdated, but it still tests your knowledge
Yeah.
and history. They weren't too difficult, but it shows where we are. Like
next time we're gonna do a little bit more. Which whoever does it next, which you guys will find out next episode. Let's just try to keep it within the semi-modern area, maybe like 7 or later than 70s or whatever.
well,
right,
that concludes our episode. Take us out, Gabe.
Yo, we'll be back here, Real Fans Podcast, all the things, Twitter, YouTube. Thank y'all for checking us out. Hopefully we'll have the boys here next week. Real Fans Podcast, all those sports. See you next week. Peace.
Peace out, everybody.